Hello and welcome to my latest weekly video news from Madison's. Well, mortgages, it's all we're hearing at the moment in the news headlines, isn't it? This snip here is the BBC News' website property page, and you can see all the stories are just about mortgages. And indeed, further down the page, they were all about mortgages as well. It's all we're hearing. Misery for many, mortgage rates rising, worries about cost of living crisis meeting mortgage payments. So yeah, it's dominating our news headlines. The market remains incredibly resilient, and that's interestingly because if you looked at the facts underneath it, the market's actually in quite good health. So Jeremy Hunt, our Chancellor, met with the Financial Conduct Authority and the main lenders last week to have a chat about what to do to help people who were worried about mortgages. Now, interestingly, that meeting was all started with a bit of a context setting, which was basically that in terms of mortgage arrears at the moment, they're really, really low. So mortgage arrears at the moment are running at 0.86%. If you compare that to 2009, which was the last kind of crash post-2008, they were at 3.32%. Most lenders said most of their borrowers actually have at least 50% equity. And if you ask the lenders for 75% plus mortgages, they said that only 10% of their book had more than a 75% loan to value. Again, looking back to 2009, that sat at about 25%. So overall, the mortgage market's in quite good health. The banks have been stress testing since 2014. I keep talking about this. That's basically whereby interest rates are very, very low. And so they basically push those rates up to sort of 4% to check that were that to happen, that a borrower could afford their payments, because they always knew they were never going to stay at such low levels forever. So that's meant that actually the mortgage book market has got quite strong health, but there will still be those who will be affected. And they put together a charter, well, they discussed putting together a charter of things, support they could give to people. So for example, this charter is proposed to have customers won't be forced to have their homes repossessed within 12 months of their first missed payment. If they're coming to the end of a fixed rate deal, they'll be offered the chance to lock into a deal up to 6 months ahead of that, to lock into a better deal. So rates are rising, you obviously want to get to a fixed rate as quickly as possible. There's going to be a new guideline around being allowed to switch to interest-only mortgages for 6 months, just to help with those repayments. And then, you can provide well-timed information to people coming to the end of their mortgage to make sure that they're okay, and then really tailored support for anyone who's really struggling. So they're aware that there could be issues for some coming up the line, zombie households, as we used to call them, where they've just got used to a really low interest rate environment and indeed can't afford the higher rates. But generally, it's okay. And I say the market's resilient. 6 offers I had in yesterday on properties. So the market remains really, really resilient, I think. Whether we're in a bubble here in Tunbridge Wells, I don't know. But yeah, I'm not seeing so much fear translating into offers. And it brings me on to kind of, looking at buyers at the moment. Of course, the pandemic was dominated by this thing called the power buyer, which was basically someone who didn't need to sell to purchase. People in rented, etc., they would be getting really good, best of all the property sales coming to market. In this market, interestingly, whether you need a mortgage or not can make you a stronger buyer. So lots of people with related sales, market is strong, so actually not struggling too much to sell those once you get your price right. That's what it's all about at the moment. But yeah, interestingly, if you don't need a mortgage, certainly for me when I'm negotiating at the moment, that means there's less pressure around timelines, trying to make sure it happens by a certain date to fix in that mortgage, and equally just less pressure on them overall. So yeah, interestingly, that whether you need a mortgage or not has become as important as whether you have a related sale or not, I would say, in this market. But some lovely properties that I've taken to market. What about this great one in Speldhurst? So this is on Fursfield Avenue, which is a really lovely road. It's a no-through road. It's very quiet, but centre of the village. Very popular village, Speldhurst. It's on at a guide of 1.25, and it is excellent value for money. Over 3,000 square feet, beautifully presented, lovely southwest-facing garden, lots of off-road parking, annex over the garage. Really good value. So give me a call if that's of interest. And this one that I think is now representing great value as well. So this is a new build property on Merryworth Road. It's now on at a guide of 875. We've been on at offers in excess of $1 million of that. It's now definitely finding its level. We're really busy with viewings. So that one, really good value for a new build. That's £520 per square foot. A new build in the town typically sits closer to 580. So that's great value. Great location, very close to all those coveted grammar schools. If either of those of interest, do give me a call. I hope you have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.